Alex Grant, a young billionaire and visionary leader in the technology industry, lives in the glamorous city of Clearwater. He is known not only for his outstanding business talent, but also for his perfect public image. However, that is just a shell. After a failed relationship with a famous model, Alex began to become lonely, skeptical, and lacking in sincere affection. The pain of the past closed his heart, making Alex unable to believe in love. Meanwhile, the pressure from the media and business partners increasingly focused on his personal life. Who will be the next woman by Alex Grant's side? That is the question that the newspapers weave every day. Everyone expects to see him appear with another rose, but Alex is more and more confused and cannot find inspiration in superficial relationships. Every day, he faced boring parties and dates that went nowhere. Alex knew that to get out of this rut, he needed something like a breath of fresh air. Tired of lavish parties and boring dates, Alex decided to spend an evening strolling around the old neighborhood of Clearwater, where he had spent his childhood. This was a place where the old cobblestone streets, small shops with faded signs, and the distinctive aroma from the corner bakery evoked memories of peaceful days. This simple and familiar scene brought him a sense of intimacy he had long forgotten. Stopping at a small cafe deep in a quiet alley, Alex did not expect anything special. But it was here that he encountered Selena, a young girl with bright eyes, exuding resilience despite her simple appearance. Her black hair was tied neatly behind her neck, and her hand occasionally twirled a pen, as if she was thinking deeply about something. Selena was sitting in the corner of the cafe, writing in an old notebook. Despite the noise outside, she remained calm, her hands gently flipping through the pages, occasionally pausing as if to contemplate. Her every movement exuded a calmness, as if the world around her could not reach her peaceful soul. Alex's eyes lingered on her longer than he had intended. There was something about Selena that intrigued him, a feeling he had not experienced in years. Naturally, he walked over and struck up a conversation. "Sorry, I don't want to bother you, but you seem very focused," Alex began, his tone gentle but still exuding his usual confidence. Selena looked up, slightly surprised, her eyes widening for a moment before she smiled slightly, put the pen down on the table, and took a deep breath, quickly regaining her composure. "Just a few thoughts. What do you need?" The conversation started with simple questions, but soon the two of them drifted into a deep conversation. Selena was unlike anyone Alex had ever met. She wasn't impressed by his looks or fame, and that put him at ease. She talked about her life, the hardships she faced, and the dreams she pursued despite the hardships. Drawn by Selena's sincerity, Alex came up with a bold idea. Before leaving the bar, he turned around and said, "I'd like to invite you to a party with me tomorrow night. This isn't an invitation, it's a serious offer. If you accept, I'll pay you $5,000. Selena looked at him, her eyes filled with disbelief. "Are you kidding?" "I'm not kidding. You can think about it. Here's my business card." Alex left the card on the table before leaving Selena with a series of questions in her head. Selena sat back in the coffee shop, stroking the business card. She had never met anyone like Alex Grant, and his offer left her feeling confused. She could easily have refused, but the money, $5,000, could change her life. The next evening, Selena decided to accept and called Alex. She was nervous, but also curious. Alex arranged to take her to a high-end beauty salon. It was Selena's first time entering such a lavish place. The dim lights, the soft scent of perfume, and the professionalism of the staff made her feel strange, but also excited. "You just need to relax," Alex said, his gaze gentle but firm. "Let them take care of you." Selena was taken care of from her hair to her skin to her clothes. Her neatly tied black hair was let down, styled in soft, seductive curls. Her skin, tanned by a long period of hardship, was carefully cared for by experts, restoring its smooth, radiant glow. They chose a suitable outfit for her, starting with a long, pale green dress, combined with elegant high heels, which helped her exude a confidence she had never felt before. When she looked in the mirror, she was amazed at her image. A beautiful and confident woman looked back at her, no longer the simple Selena of the past. She felt like she was stepping into a new life. "I don't recognize myself," Selena said, her voice whispering. "But I recognize you," Alex replied, giving a small smile. This is the person you've always been capable of being. Selena was silent, but inside she felt an indescribable feeling, a new confidence mixed with a little hope. Before leaving the salon, Alex helped Selena complete her look with a pair of small earrings and a chic handbag. As the two walked out, Selena realized that this was not just a party, but the first step in a life-changing journey. The evening party took place at a luxurious hilltop mansion where lights sparkled through the large glass windows. Alex and Selena arrived in a sleek black limousine. Selena, in a pale green dress, stepped out of the car, feeling curious and admiring eyes on her. Inside the mansion, the air was filled with soft classical music. Celebrities, successful businessmen, and the upper class gathered in their finest outfits. Selena felt nervous, her palms damp as she clutched her clutch. She saw her reflection in the large glass window, an elegant woman, but she still couldn't shake the feeling of being out of place. Her mind drifted back to the days when she struggled to make ends meet, and she wondered if she really belonged here. The questioning eyes of those around her made her take a step back, but Alex gently stepped forward, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Just be yourself, and you'll be fine," he said, his voice warm and trusting. Selena was a little awkward at first, especially when a woman asked her about her background. A slight hesitation crossed her face, but she quickly regained her composure. An older man, with an air of authority, asked her skeptically, "Where are you from, if I may ask?" Selena hesitated, but then she smiled slightly, her eyes steady. "I come from a small town where every day was a fight for survival, but it taught me to appreciate every opportunity, like tonight." The sincerity in her voice silenced the group for a moment. Then they began to nod in agreement. The curiosity in their eyes was replaced by admiration. They were quickly drawn to her story, feeling the strength and confidence she brought. They listened to her talk about the challenges faced by those in the lower classes and sensed the passion in her words. "She's special," an older woman who appeared to be the hostess told Alex. "I've never met anyone like her." Alex smiled proudly. "I knew it." Meanwhile, Selena began to feel more confident. She stopped paying attention to the judgmental eyes, focused on enjoying the party and expressing herself. That night, she was not just a guest, but a shining star among the elite. The party was halfway over, and Selena felt relieved that she no longer felt out of place. She stepped out into the garden behind the mansion to breathe in the fresh air. The moonlight shone down on the large garden where the rose bushes were in full bloom. Selena touched the petals, feeling a strange sense of peace rising in her heart. Alex walked up from behind, holding 2 glasses of wine. "I guess you need some space," he said, handing one to her. Selena took the glass, smiling gratefully. "I'm not used to parties like this," she confessed, her eyes on the sparkling lights of the mansion. "But I guess I didn't do too badly." Alex chuckled. "Not only did you do well, but you got everyone's attention. Selena, don't you realize that you're really special?" Selena turned to look at him, her eyes sparkling in the moonlight. "I'm just a normal person, Alex. I don't think I fit in this world." "You don't just fit in, you make it better," Alex said, his voice low but sincere. "You made me realize that sometimes the simplest things are what we need the most." In that moment, the air seemed to freeze. Selena felt an unspoken connection between them. Alex was no longer the perfect billionaire in her eyes, but a human being with real feelings. They stood in silence, only the wind rustling the flower petals. "I've never met anyone like you, Selena," Alex continued, his eyes never leaving hers. "You make me want to be a better person." Selena felt her heart beat faster. The wall she'd built around her heart began to shake. She chuckled, trying to hide her rising emotions. "You're not what I thought you were." "So have I passed your test?" Alex joked, but there was a hint of anticipation in his voice. "Maybe," Selena replied, her eyes sparkling. "But don't think it's going to be easy for me." Alex laughed. "I don't expect that. I just hope you'll give me a chance." The conversation was interrupted when an employee walked out, saying someone wanted to see Alex. He turned to Selena, his eyes wanting to say something, but then he just smiled. "I'll be right back." Selena nodded, watching Alex walk away. Her heart was filled with a mixture of anxiety and hope. She didn't know if she was ready to open herself up again, but in this moment she felt like she wasn't alone. She looked up at the night sky. The moon seemed to smile at her, promising something better was waiting. Selena returned to the mansion after Alex left. She passed through the main room where the guests were still chatting animatedly. However, the atmosphere seemed to change as she passed. A few curious glances followed her, mixed with admiration and suspicion. Selena tried to maintain her confident appearance, but deep down she could still feel the difference. She walked to a corner of the room where the lights were softer. A voice suddenly sounded behind her. "Selena, right?" A man in a neat suit approached. He introduced himself as Daniel, an old friend of Alex's and a successful businessman. Daniel smiled politely, but his eyes were scrutinizing. "I heard you're Alex's companion tonight," Daniel said, his tone polite but suggestive. "I must say, Alex seems to have changed his taste in companions." Selena paused, but quickly regained her composure. "I don't think Alex has any particular taste," she replied softly, trying to suppress her annoyance. "He's just someone who appreciates the value of others." Daniel smirked, as if he didn't quite believe her. "Yes, Alex has always had a very unique perspective. But I can't help but wonder, Selena, where are you really from?" Selena sensed the challenge in the question. She raised her head, her eyes not avoiding. "I come from a place that's probably not on the map of the upper class, but it's where I learned to be strong and appreciate the simplest things." Her answer took Daniel by surprise. A few nearby guests, drawn in by the conversation, turned to listen. Selena didn't let the opportunity pass. She continued, her voice clear and steady. "I believe that a person's worth is not determined by where they come from, but by how they overcome their challenges and how they stay true to themselves." There was a moment of silence before an older woman standing nearby spoke up. "That's wonderful. It's been a long time since I've heard such a sincere statement." Selena smiled gratefully, feeling relieved. However, she could still feel Daniel's eyes on her, as if he was trying to find something more to challenge her with. Alex turned around at this moment, his eyes quickly finding Selena in the crowd. When he realized the situation, he walked over and stood beside her. "Daniel, long time no see," Alex said, his smile half friendly, half warning. "I hope you're not disturbing my companion." Daniel shrugged, smirking. "Just a pleasant conversation, Alex. It seems Selena is quite good at attracting attention." Alex placed a hand lightly on Selena's shoulder in a protective gesture. "She didn't have to try," he replied, his tone sharp. "I think there are still many guests at the party who need your attention." Daniel took the hint and left, but not without giving her a meaningful look. Selena breathed a sigh of relief, feeling the warmth from Alex. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't need to thank me. You did great." Alex said, his eyes soft. "I'm proud of you." Selena felt her heart soften. Despite the challenges of the evening, she realized that she wasn't alone. With Alex by her side, she began to feel like she could face any prejudice. After the party, Alex drove Selena home. The atmosphere in the car was quiet but not uncomfortable. Selena quietly looked out the window. The streetlights passing by reminded her of the lonely days, where every flickering light was just a distant dream. Alex broke the silence with a gentle question. "Did the party today make you feel stressed?" Selena smiled slightly. "Honestly, yes, but it also made me realize more about myself." Alex, sitting behind the wheel, occasionally glanced at her through the rearview mirror. It seemed like both of them were thinking about what had happened. Alex drove to a high point on the hill, where he could see the whole city with its bright lights. He stopped the car, turned to Selena, and said, "I want you to see this before you go home." Selena got out of the car. The gentle wind blew, carrying the scent of the night. They stood side by side, watching the shimmering lights spread out at the foot of the hill. "This city is beautiful," Selena said, "but sometimes it makes me feel so small." "Selena," he began, his voice searching for the words, "I want to say I really admire the way you handled everything tonight." Selena looked at him, her eyes mixed with emotion. "Thank you, but I'm just me. Maybe that's not always enough." "You're wrong," Alex said immediately. "You're more than enough. You made me realize what I've been missing in my life: honesty, strength, and a belief in simple things." Selena was taken aback by his words. Her heart beat faster, but she tried to keep her composure. "Alex, I don't think I fit into your world." Alex stepped closer, his eyes locked on hers. Selena, my world doesn't make sense without you. Not only do you fit, you're the only thing that makes it worth living. The space between them became quiet, only the gentle wind blowing. Alex looked at Selena, his eyes filled with emotion. I used to think I knew everything about happiness, but then I met you, and I realized that I had lived an empty life. You taught me to appreciate the simplest things, Selena. He suddenly knelt down, pulling a small box from his pocket. The streetlights illuminated the sparkling ring in his hand. Selena, are you ready for us to start a new life together? Selena looked down at him, tears glistening in her eyes. Part of her wanted to run away, but the other, stronger part knew that this was the moment she had waited her whole life. She nodded, speechless. Alex smiled, placed the ring on her finger, and stood up to hug her. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you for giving me a chance to love you. Selena tightened her arms around him, feeling her heart beat in sync with his. In that moment, all prejudices and barriers seemed to disappear. There was only them and the sincere love they had for each other. The new day began with the gentle sunlight shining through the window. Selena woke up in her small apartment, feeling like everything had changed. The ring on her hand sparkled, reminding her of the proposal last night. A smile suddenly appeared on her lips when she remembered Alex's sincere eyes and his words, "My world means nothing without you." Alex picked Selena up in the morning to walk with her through a small garden near the house. The two walked along the stone path, talking about their plans for the future. Alex wanted Selena to move in with him, but Selena was still hesitant. I need time, she said, her tone sincere. I'm used to a simple life, and I'm afraid of losing who I am in your world. Alex nodded, holding her hand tightly. I understand, Selena, and I promise I will never let you lose yourself. I want to build a world where we both belong. Over the next few days, Alex took Selena on a tour of important places in his life. The corporate office where he started his career from scratch, and the small house in the suburbs where he had lived with his family before everything changed. Selena sensed another side of Alex, not the perfect billionaire, but a man who had struggled and overcome adversity. At the same time, Selena began to plan to help others who had gone through the same difficult time she did. With Alex's support, she launched a community project to create jobs for unemployed women and youth. I want to give back to the world what I have received, she told Alex as they discussed the project. I can't just sit back and enjoy happiness without helping others. The opening of the project was warm and hopeful. Selena stood before the crowd, sharing her story and why she wanted to change the lives of others. As she spoke, Alex's eyes followed her from the front row, filled with pride and love. She didn't just change my life, he thought. She changed the world around me. Their new life wasn't always easy. Selena had to learn to fit into Alex's world, while Alex struggled to understand and adapt to the simple values Selena held dear. However, it was love and empathy that helped them overcome all the challenges. Late one afternoon, Alex and Selena stood together on the balcony of their new apartment, watching the glorious sunset. Selena leaned her head on Alex's shoulder and whispered, I used to think there was no room for someone like me in your world, but you proved me wrong. Alex smiled, gently pulling her into his arms. No, Selena, you proved that love can change everything. They stood there, side by side, no more words needed. In the sunset, two hearts became one, ready to face everything ahead, together building the life they dreamed of.